Hey, it's MK, and I am back with another Follow a Sketch February, and today I'm actually doing today's layout. Yay! So I thought that I would start with a bunch of homemade embellishments that were either gifted to me or I created, like this little rosette I created, and then I have two more embellishments from the RTS Steampunk Swap. This one here is Michelle Furland, I apologize for butchering the name, and then Sherry Tibbetts, which I already used her other one. I didn't realize I got two, so I was super excited that I got two. These were little light bulbs that I created out of paper clips, or actually, no, I apologize. I believe they were a type of bobby pin, if that's what it's called, with the little spring at this end. Anyways, I'm not sure. I have a Tim Holtz button, or I should say flare, as well as a wood, it's a wood, I'm so sorry, you guys, gear, that accidentally ended up on my desk. So I also have a viewfinder that I'm not sure if I'm going to use yet or not. And then I have these cut aparts that are from 13 Arts. And I thought that I would cut apart those for the old photos and do something, but I'm not sure yet. Pulled out these gear buttons that are from Hobby Lobby. This was that Studio Light little booklet that I was telling you guys about in a couple videos ago, where it's got a whole bunch of what is supposed to be punch out or die cut images, but they are very hard to punch out, you guys. The perforations are a little bit stronger than they're supposed to be. I also have some assemblage required wood veneer that, sadly to say, I completely set them off to the side and forget about them until they're too late. So I apologize about that. Pulling out some oldies but goodies, little yellow bicycle, and this really cool die cut 12-inch piece. And I've got silver and black. I already used the silver geared one, so I'm going to use the black geared one on this particular layout. I also have these die cut images, actually I should say cut file images, that are from Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and I plan on using the film strip for that one. I already put my title together and of course already put my alphas away, so I cannot show you guys which thicker set this came from. I have 6 photos that I plan on matting in black. And then last but not least, I have 2 12x12 papers that are from Kaiser Craft that I plan on using as my base page. So they are from Kaiser Craft, and then it's the workshop collection. So I still have a little bit more pieces. Actually, I found a few more pieces too, which is weird. So I'm super stoked that I found those. They must have gotten mixed up somewhere down the line. All right, I'm going to go and cut up all of my photos and mat them. I made my film strip, or I should say my photo reel, or film reel, oh gosh, you guys, viewfinder. I made it black and put all those tiny little photos within some of the pockets because I know I'm going to cover up some of the rest. I also took my window cut apart that was from Minte Papers. I took that and took one of the photos and stretched it by actually cheating and taking 2 photos to make it look like it's one photo in the window. I apologize that it came back so fast and now I'm talking about it and I have moved on and put the layout together already. That was crazy. But I did end up doing that. So what I'm going to do with the film strip is just make it kind of sort of look like the piece of paper. So I'm really stretching the sketch. And I don't mean by like taking it from a 12x12 to a 12x24. But what I'm doing is I'm only pulling out the elements and then making the rest of the sketch work for the photos that I have. Clearly, I don't have a 5x7 photo. Clearly, I don't have a whole bunch of horizontal photos. So I kind of sort of had to make it work for me. I really loved that big, bold printed paper that went like almost 6 inches vertical on the left-hand side. So that's where my gear piece is coming from. And then of course it's got a horizontal look to it with the photo elements, and I am stealing that by doing a whole bunch of vertical photos and going horizontally across my page. And then instead of a long, huge journaling strip, because this is only my, millionth layout of Bodhi, I'm going to go ahead and put my two more vertical photos going up and down on my right-hand page. That's replacing the journaling strip. And then, of course, to kind of sort of just be there, I'm taking my horizontal photo and making it go into, whatever's left on the right side of the journaling strip. Now, to make it look larger than it is, I'm going to put a huge embellishment cluster around this photo, and also to include my my title. So that way it just looks like it's larger than what it is, but also fills in that gap rather nicely. Now, instead of having my I almost call them zip strips. I apologize about that. But instead of having my washi tape going all the way across the top, like that big black strip is in the sketch, I'm actually putting my washi tape down at the bottom. That way I don't take away from the film strip that I already put up at the top. Now, I don't pay attention to whether or not my film strips go straight across the entire page, like perfectly straight. Seriously, I never paid attention to that because I ended up covering it up with my title. So you really can't see the film strip, even though it's not straight across my page. I never even paid attention to it, and I never even thought about it, to be honest, when I was creating the layout until this voiceover. Now, I am going to be using a couple of those cutouts, or punch outs, I should say, that I took from that little booklet, and I had to cut them all out by hand, you guys. Not that it's a big deal. I mean, the images were pretty simple in itself, and most of the images, were very simple to pull out. I just had to, go over where it's supposed to be perforated, or I should say have that little nick in them. I just went around with my scissors to try and get them off the carrier sheet. It's a work, it's a work, but usable images, you guys. And then I also took some of these plates and a kind of looks like a book plate. I took those out of this book as well to use and help build my clusters on this layout too. So I did take the viewfinder and went ahead and glued it to the back of my photo before I glued the photo. Now, down to the page. I'm sorry, finish my sentence before I start another one. The viewfinder isn't very thick, so I did not have to put the viewfinder on top, or I didn't have to put the photo on top of any type of foam adhesive at all when I went to go do this. And then I built my cluster, so I took Sherry's die cut corner piece and brought it down from the viewfinder, and then I took that gorgeous dress form and from Michelle and put that on top of the corner just to fill in that gap, because it did leave quite a bit of gap, but I love how they blend together and work together so beautifully. And then of course I brought down these really old lights down from that cluster as well to help fill in the gap that the title left in that little bit. And then I filled in underneath this in house with my rosette and a label or a plate is what it looks like. And then have all these buttons just to kind of sort of help with the rest of the cluster and all bringing in all the colors together. Now I'm working on the other, the left side page. Of course, I've been working on it, just talking about the right side page. And I took that window that I put the girl in, which I absolutely love, because my son is looking through the window into this house that totally looks completely abandoned. I mean, the wallpaper's coming off. The doors don't match. It's just an amazing house. Now, if you look past the condition of the house and actually look at what back in the 1800s these people actually had for a house, it's absolutely fabulous. I mean, the doors don't match, yes, but the fact that the doors had decoration on them to begin with is just wow, And I do have to tell you guys that this is the McDonnell Dolan house. It is the very first house that you come to if you take the trail road. Now, there's 3 different ways into Bodie. One is called the trail. One is called Park Road, which is where you park down kind of at the entrance before they imagined that Bodie was going to be a huge hit. So that's the Park Road. And then, of course, there's a second trail coming from the restrooms and whatnot. So it depends on how you come into Bodie as to what you see first. And we happened to see the McDonnell Dolan house, which was listed as they moved there in 1920. And so we just thought that it was pretty cool to see. So it's Donald and the son, Frank McDonnell, and they were miners in 1920 over at Bodie. The wife's name was Mary, And this was one of Bodhi's postmistresses and school teacher. So she had 2 jobs, which was really cool. Oh, I apologize. No, the school teacher was Alice Dolan, which is the daughter of the Sheriff James Dolan. And she lived there briefly from 35 to 37 while she taught at the school. And unfortunately, the father, her father, which is why she moved in with the McDonalds, her father was killed over by Mono Lake back in 1915. So there's really cool. So where I get all of my information, because I'm definitely not this smart, is when you get to Bodhi, they give you this really cool book. And as you go from house to house, all the houses are numbered. They've got like a little 4x4 post, and it's cut at an angle and then a number placed on it. And you follow along in the book and you read about the house as you move along down the trail. And then it tells you where you can go find the next number and the next number and the next number. And that is how we are able to move along. And that is basically where I'm getting my information. I am definitely not that smart of a person to remember all of this good stuff. But anyways, I talked through the entire video. Again, I am apologizing. I did add a little bit of black splatter to help my, excuse me, I still have that nasty cough, you guys, to help my embellishments kind of sort of be cohesive together and learn how oh my gosh, you guys, I have to apologize. This cough is definitely taking away from my normal voiceovers. It's very distracting, and I'm trying so hard not to cough over the voiceover, and so it's interrupting my thought process. And I want to apologize, you guys, because a few of you have commented on that, and I just up and down, I am so sorry, because it is a distraction. And I actually listened to one of the voiceovers where somebody commented, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is very bad. I am so sorry, you guys. I really am. So anyways, I will leave you at that. Please check out the Facebook group where Follow a Sketch is located, because it's not really a chain of YouTubers. I honestly don't know how many people are following along on YouTube. But it is cool to see everybody following along in the Facebook group that don't have YouTube or Instagram. And I absolutely love seeing all the different takes on these sketches, you guys. So the link is down below for the Facebook group, and I will check you all later. Thank you so much for joining me and sticking with this cough, you guys. I so appreciate it. Thank you. See you later.